Throughout history, the world of performance has been filled with moments of joy, excitement, and heartbreak. While many performers spend their lives captivating audiences, some meet their end in front of the very crowds they seek to entertain. Whether by sudden illness, tragic accidents, or unforeseen events, these individuals shared their final moments on stage, sometimes to the shock and disbelief of their audiences. Today, we will explore the stories of 16 performers whose last breath came under the spotlight. Join us as we look into their remarkable lives and the unforgettable moments that mark their final curtain call. Tommy Cooper, April 15, 1984. Tommy Cooper was a much-loved British comedian and magician. Known for his clumsy magic tricks and larger-than-life persona, Cooper's charm lay in his ability to turn failure into laughter. On April 15, 1984, during a live televised broadcast of Live from Her Majesty's, Cooper collapsed mid-performance while performing one of his famous gags. At first, the audience roared with laughter, assuming it was part of the act. But as the minutes passed, it became clear something was terribly wrong. Cooper had suffered a massive heart attack and was rushed backstage, where efforts to save him were unsuccessful. His death was witnessed by millions of viewers, making it one of the most tragic moments in British television history. Dick Shawn, April 17, 1987. Dick Shawn was an actor and comedian best known for his offbeat humor and roles in films such as The Producers and It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. On April 17, 1987, Shawn was performing a one-man show at the University of California, San Diego. In the middle of his act, Shawn collapsed on stage. The audience, thinking it was part of his routine, continued to laugh for several moments. Shawn had suffered a heart attack and lay unconscious on the stage. It wasn't until an audience member came forward to check on him that the severity of the situation became apparent. Shawn was pronounced dead later that evening. He was 63 years old. Molier, February 17, 1673. Jean-Baptiste Poquelin, better known as Moliere, is widely regarded as one of the greatest playwrights in French history. Ironically, he met his demise while performing one of his own works, Le Malade Imaginaire, The Imaginary Invalid, a play about a hypochondriac. During the performance on February 17, 1673, Moliere suffered a violent coughing fit, but insisted on continuing. After the show, he collapsed and died shortly thereafter. At the time, the superstitions surrounding actors was so strong that he was denied a proper Christian burial. Moliere's final performance and his untimely death have become a part of his legendary status in the history of theater. Edith Webster, November 1986. Edith Webster was a stage actress known for her role in the play The Drunkard. During a November 1986 performance in Baltimore, Webster's character was scripted to die during the show's climactic scene. But on this particular night, when Webster collapsed on stage, her death scene became real. The audience, unaware that something was wrong, applauded what they believed was a stellar performance. It was only after several moments that anyone realized she had suffered a heart attack. Despite efforts to revive her, Webster passed away on stage at the age of 60. This tragic moment blurred the line between life and performance, turning her final scene into a haunting reality. Mark Sandman, July 3, 1999. Mark Sandman, the lead singer and bassist of the alternative rock band Morphine, was known for his sultry voice and signature two-string slide bass. On July 3, 1999, while performing at the Nel Nome del Rock Festival in Palestrina, Italy, Sandman collapsed mid-song. The audience was unsure whether it was part of the performance or something more serious. Tragically, Sandman had suffered a heart attack and died on stage. He was just 46 years old. Sandman's sudden death left the music world reeling, and Morphine's dark, bluesy sound continues to resonate with fans to this day. Owen Hart, May 23, 1999. Owen Hart was a Canadian professional wrestler known for his acrobatic style and charisma in the ring. Performing under the persona The Blue Blazer, Hart was set to make a dramatic entrance during a WWE event called Over the Edge in Kansas City on May 23, 1999. As part of the stunt, Hart was supposed to descend from the rafters using a harness. However, the rigging malfunctioned, causing Hart to fall nearly 80 feet into the ring. Though paramedics rushed to his aid, Hart died from the impact. His death was broadcast live, though cameras cut away at the moment of the fall. The tragedy shook the wrestling world and led to increased scrutiny over safety measures in sports entertainment. Brandon Lee, March 30, 1993. Brandon Lee, son of martial arts icon Bruce Lee, was on the cusp of his breakout role as the lead in the film The Crow. On March 31, 1993, Lee was filming a scene in which his character was to be shot. Tragically, due to a series of oversights, a real bullet fragment remained in the prop gun used during the scene. When the gun was fired, Lee was struck in the abdomen. Despite being rushed to the hospital, he died several hours later. He was only 28 years old. Lee's death shocked Hollywood and led to significant changes in film set safety protocols. Leslie Harvey, May 3, 1972. Leslie Harvey, the talented guitarist for the Scottish rock band Stone the Crows, tragically lost his life while performing on May 3, 1972. During a concert at Swansea's top-ranked ballroom, Harvey was electrocuted when he touched an ungrounded microphone with wet hands. The shock was severe, and despite efforts to revive him, Harvey was pronounced dead at the scene. He was just 27 years old. Harvey's death sent shockwaves through the music community, and his passing is still remembered as a tragic loss of talent. José Luis Monero, February 15, 2011. José Luis Monero, one of the most beloved bolero singers from Puerto Rico, passed away in a way that mirrored his passion for music. At a Valentine's Day concert in 2011, the 90-year-old singer collapsed while performing on stage. Despite efforts to revive him, Monero died in front of his devoted audience. His passing marked the end of an era for Latin music, but his legacy as a performer who poured his heart and soul into every song continues to inspire. Karl Wallenda, March 22, 1978. Karl Wallenda was the patriarch of the famous high-wire circus troupe, the Flying Wallendas. Known for their death-defying stunts, the Wallendas performed without safety nets, relying on their skill and bravery. On March 22, 1978, 73-year-old Karl Wallenda attempted to walk a wire stretched between two hotel towers in San Juan, Puerto Rico. The wind was high, and Wallenda, struggling to maintain balance, fell 121 feet to his death. His tragic fall was captured on live television, shocking viewers worldwide. Despite his death, the Wallenda family continues to perform, carrying on Karl's legacy of breathtaking feats. Simón Bolivar, Symphony Orchestra's principal violinist, 2014. Pedro Delgado, the principal violinist for Venezuela's Simón Bolivar Symphony Orchestra, suffered a fatal heart attack on stage during a concert in 2014. The orchestra was performing Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 6 when Delgado collapsed. Initially, the audience believed the disruption to be part of the performance. However, the concert was abruptly halted, and Delgado was rushed to the hospital, where he was declared dead. His death stunned the classical music community and left a void in one of Venezuela's most prestigious orchestras. Mike DiNapoli, June 12, 1986. Mike DiNapoli was a stand-up comedian from Philadelphia who loved to make people laugh. On June 12, 1986, while performing at a comedy club, DiNapoli suddenly collapsed on stage. The audience, thinking it was part of his act, laughed for several moments. But when DiNapoli failed to get up, it became clear something was terribly wrong. He had suffered a heart attack and died later that evening in the hospital. His death shocked the comedy community, reminding everyone of the fine line between laughter and tragedy. Matt McGrath, 1930s. Matt McGrath was an Irish-born Olympic hammer thrower and performer in strongman shows. In the 1930s, McGrath took part in a demonstration in front of an audience when he suddenly collapsed. It was later determined that McGrath had suffered a heart attack. A beloved figure in the world of athletics, McGrath's passing during a public performance marked the end of a celebrated career in both sports and entertainment. Sid James, April 26, 1976. Sid James, the South African-born British comedian and actor, was one of the most recognizable faces in British television and film, particularly for his roles in the Carry On series. On April 26, 1976, James was performing in the stage play The Mating Season in Sunderland, England. During the show, James suffered a heart attack and collapsed. The audience, thinking it was part of his act, laughed at first, unaware of the severity of the situation. Despite attempts to revive him, James died that night, marking the end of a long and successful career in comedy. Tiny Tim, November 30th, 1996. Tiny Tim, the eccentric singer best known for his falsetto voice and hit song Tiptoe Through the Tulips, suffered a heart attack while performing on stage on November 30th, 1996. The event occurred at a gala at the Women's Club of Minneapolis. Tiny Tim collapsed during his performance and was rushed to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. He was 64 years old. His offbeat personality and unique sound made him a beloved figure in pop culture, and his passing on stage was a fittingly dramatic end to his one-of-a-kind career. Paul Mance, turning July 8, 1965. Paul Mance was a renowned Hollywood stunt pilot known for his daring aerial stunts in films. On July 8, 1965, Mance was filming The Flight of the Phoenix when tragedy struck. While flying a makeshift plane designed for the film, Mance misjudged his landing and crashed. The impact killed him instantly. Mance's death sent shockwaves through the film industry, and the movie was later dedicated to his memory. His fearless spirit and contributions to aviation stunts continue to be remembered by film historians and aviation enthusiasts alike. These stories remind us of the unpredictability of life, especially for those who live and die in the spotlight. Each performer left behind a legacy, one filled with passion, dedication, and an undeniable love for their craft. Though their deaths were tragic, they live on through their art, forever remembered by audiences and fans across the globe. Thank you for joining us today and honoring these performers whose final moments were spent doing what they loved.